and KJ here with a quick content note about mentions of suicide, murder, other discussions of reproduction. YA books are weirdly dark sometimes. So yeah, just quick content warning there. And if you or someone you know is struggling, please reach out and, get help from someone in your community. If you think that you're in immediate danger, please call someone to come and help you. We want everyone at the end of the day to feel safe and get home safe. So yeah, please enjoy this episode where we discuss vampire reproduction.
Welcome back. This is the Series of Opinions podcast, episode number 20. We are 3 women talking about the best and worst of media and our opinions about them. Today, we will be discussing mythical biology. I'm Moira.
I'm Faith.
And I'm KJ.
So do we want to start off with any recommendations that we might have for this week?
Yeah, I have a couple that I could start with. Sure. I wanted to I know I've recommended this, I think last week or the week before, but I wanted to double down on my Big Sky recommendation because I need somebody to watch it because it's so friggin' good. It's so, the acting, the actors, the plot, the setting, the story. Oh my god, it's so good. So somebody has to watch it out of you two because I am obsessed.
And I can't believe I haven't watched it yet.
I can't believe it either. I think we also mentioned that KJ was the one who sent me the trailer for it.
Yeah, before it started.
Oh, and I watched it and she hasn't. So
I'm having some follow-through issues at the moment.
Yeah, it happens. I also wanted to recommend the Obsessed with Disappeared just started their Patreon, so I wanted to plug them.
It's amazing.
It's so amazing. I'm the highest tier that you can be. Their coverage of Snapped right now is so incredible. I just love them so much.
I'm in the lower tier and it's still amazing.
It's still amazing.
That's awesome.
Whenever they start doing tours and things, they said in the last Friday Night Live, it'll be a few Friday Night Lives ago, that they were gonna start doing a cruise, and I texted Faith and I was like, we're going.
Oh my gosh. How, what an actual dream.
We'll record.
My gosh. Record an episode from the OWD cruise. What am I, oh my god, what a dream.
Also, the Patreon is called The Drama Club, which is just gold.
Yes.
I love it.
And highly recommend Ellen's cover of Man in the Mirror as well.
Yes.
It's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
I haven't thought about that song, probably ever, unless I actually heard it. When you hear it, it's, on, but you don't think about it again. But, I've been thinking about it for, 2 days.
Yeah, we could go on forever talking about just how much we love them. Moira, you have to get into it because they're so incredible.
Even if you don't like true crime, it's still amazing.
They're so funny. They're so funny that I know, I'm trying to get my sister to get into it too. Start
with the Instagram if you aren't really that into true crime.
Yeah. Half an hour on Fridays, you'll get into them and no problem.
Yeah, if you don't know what we're talking about, they go live every Friday at 6 p.m. on Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's amazing.
I never talk to them on Friday nights at 6 o'clock because that's dangerous.
And then if you're part of the Patreon, they record their Friday Night Live, and you can listen to it as a podcast on Mondays. It's amazing.
That's very cool.
And then my final recommendation is a YouTube channel called Yoga with Adrienne, and I just wanted to recommend, her videos are classes, and they're most of them are pretty long. They're half an hour-ish, and she has some 30-day challenges where you do yoga every day for a month, and she's done that for the past 5 or 6 years in January, where she posts every day a class. So if anyone wanted to get into yoga or start, I love her and the way she approaches it, and she has some really good tweaks that she makes, different options of different ways you can do things based on your ability. So I highly recommend her YouTube channel.
Amazing.
I've been doing the 30 days in a row this month, so it's been really good. Yeah.
That's really awesome.
Shout out to Faith for having 2 weeks in a row of recommendation-related things that were super healthy for you.
Yeah.
We're trying to make 2021 our year. We're trying really hard. But yeah, that's all I got this week.
Awesome. KJ, do you have any?
Yeah. I was just gonna say that I wanted to go next because I didn't super succeed with my acceptance of Faith's challenge to get up early, but like Monday and Tuesday were really good. On Tuesday, I was in the shower at 7:30, which is like I was
Fantastic.
up and in the shower a whole hour before I would usually even like get out of bed.
Good for you, girl.
Yeah,
That's
so like
awesome.
Monday and Tuesday were really good. Wednesday, I had some anxiety Tuesday, and I stayed up till 3:30 in the morning, so I knew I wasn't going to have a good day, but I still got up on time. And then, Thursday and Friday were issues for me, but...
Start small.
Yeah, it was really good the first couple days. I definitely did feel really good on Tuesday.
Yes,
so
for sure.
I would like to work my way up to getting up at 6:30 every day. That's been my goal for like 2 years, and I just haven't been able to make myself do it. But like, I think if I like just approach it with that challenge type mindset, I think I can get there.
Yeah, it's really, really hard to actually get up. But once you're up, I find I'm just like so proud of myself for actually being like conscious and awake and half productive that it just like makes your whole day better.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna like try like working backwards, like try like 7:30 for a little bit, and then try 7 for a little bit, and then like work my way back to 6:30.
Yeah.
And then my other recommendations are literally things that we've had whole episodes on already, but I finished One Day at a Time.
Yay!
We're planning on doing like an update episode or series of episodes.
Yeah, so don't get too much into it.
So yeah. But I finished the One Day at a Time that's on Netflix. I know there's like another season that's not on Netflix, but I finished what's on Netflix, and it was amazing. Good job on the recommendation, Moira.
So glad.
And I'm on season 3 of Money Heist, just so things are getting good. I'm texting Faith like questions / concerns / commentary now, but it's also amazing.
Oh my gosh.
The audio and the subtitles still don't line up. It's really
Oh no.
That's not good.
I don't understand. Even in like the trailer, like I finished the first 2 seasons and then I just like hovered over it and it started playing me the trailer for season 3. Because that's a big shift in the content.
Yes.
Is at the start of season 3. And so I started playing the trailer, and even the subtitles on that. Also, I didn't know there was subtitles on trailers. I just never noticed before. But I noticed because they didn't match.
Oh boy.
I have my subtitles on all the time now.
Yeah, I never have my subtitles on, so I never noticed that before.
No. Oh, I have one more thing. I think it wasn't this week, it was last week, but I forgot to mention it last week. One of my goals in 2021 was I wanted to learn some sign language.
Good.
And then my school offered like a 1 class, I guess like a week and a half ago. And like I went for the class. I mean, I didn't go anywhere. It was virtual because 2021. But it was virtual, and it was really, really great. And it was 2 students running it. Like there wasn't any like adults present. It was all students.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really fun.
cool.
And I hope that they decide to run more because it's like the turnout was really good. And even if they don't do more, I think I'll just do some like YouTube classes and stuff like that.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, like we just did some like basic words and like the alphabet and stuff, but it was really fun. And it was nice to feel like, you know, making things just a little bit easier for someone someday, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, checking off that goal even just a little bit.
Yeah.
Feels really good.
It feels really good to check off a goal. I've been really struggling in 2021 so far. Like, more than I was expecting. I thought that, like, you know, 2020, like, faced all those challenges in 2020. I thought, like, okay, 2021, girl, you got this. Like, you're going with a good attitude. No, it's not been good so far.
But it's only the first month.
It's only the first month. Yeah, we have 11 more months to go.
Yeah.
Lots of time. So I only have one recommendation for this week.
That's okay.
Now that I've got you hooked on One Day at a Time, I want to recommend another show that I absolutely adore, which is Gilmore Girls. I need you both to watch this finally, please.
I can't believe I haven't.
Honestly,
I know.
I love Jared Padalecki.
Exactly. I, like, adore this show so much. It's very good. It's very early 2000s, which honestly is part of the charm. But yeah, it has Jared Padalecki in it.
Yeah.
And he's not even one of my favorite characters, so, like, that should tell you things of how good it is.
And is Milo Ventimiglia in it too?
Yes, he is.
Okay, I was gonna say, did I imagine
one of my top
that?
favorite characters.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, why haven't I seen it yet? I mean.
Yeah. Those 2 people right there should have hooked me a long time ago.
Yeah.
Definitely on the list.
Okay, so let's get into our episode. Today we are going to be discussing mythical creatures in TV, movies, and trying to figure out how they came to be and what's happening. So we're going to be discussing werewolves, vampires, and banshees from a few different shows, and we will be looking at how you become one, can you turn back, and how, their diet, and other lore about them. And I just want to do a little broad thing and say we'll not be including anything from Harry Potter today because the werewolves are not a main point of the series, and the series has been called out for the parallels to homophobic stereotypes in the werewolves, and we don't support that, or J.K. Rowling and her awful transphobic ideas. So
thank you.
Yeah, mega preach. Preach, for sure.
Yeah, all around.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Good thing to include, for sure.
Yeah. And we're going to start by talking about werewolves and anything about them. So, a werewolf is a human with the ability to shapeshift into a wolf. Does anyone have anything they want to start off with and, overarching qualities and stuff about them?
A big part of, the werewolf type story is usually the moon. It's usually a correspondence with a full moon.
That was the first thing I put was howling at the moon. Yeah, and then, combination of, wolf and human. Usually, the transformation between human and wolf is, really painful and, really dramatic in the way that it's portrayed. I read on livescience.com that folklorist Carol Rose notes that, quote, in ancient Greece, it was believed that a person could be transformed by eating the meat of a wolf that had been mixed with that of a human, and that the condition was irreversible, end quote.
Oh,
so that's very cool.
I thought that was interesting, because usually that's not...
Yeah, it's usually bitten by another werewolf. But that could almost be the origin,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. How the first ones.
Yeah, because that doesn't really account for an origin story.
Yeah. And I think in Twilight, where did I even have... Oh, yeah, I do have some stuff about Twilight, but...
I do too. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. But is there... It's some of it is genetics, I think, too.
Oh,
yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that in more detail in a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, the only Sorry, go ahead.
I also read some stuff about how, in, hundreds of years ago, they would, kind of talk about how werewolves would be able to remove their actual, fur/armor, which leaves them vulnerable to be killed, and you can only, kill them when they don't have it on. And if their armor is found... they have to hide it away, and if it's found, they aren't able to turn back, and then you can be found out and killed because you're, vulnerable. I thought that was really interesting, too.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, that's a fun fact I didn't know.
Yeah, I did a lot of research for this. It was really interesting to see.
Yeah, it was super interesting. The only other, general common qualities are, usually, a weakness to silver.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then usually, they have superhuman senses, strength, speed, etc., sometimes in both forms, even when they're humans.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I also some iron too, silver or iron.
Iron's pretty common in the mythological
and
world.
Killed with a silver bullet kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Too. I found some references too.
Very cool. Yeah.
So do we want to get into Twilight?
Yeah, some specific.
And other specific shows as well, but start with Twilight, I guess.
Absolutely.
So what did you guys find about Twilight werewolves? I'm curious, because I fell down the rabbit hole of imprinting and how problematic that is. I don't know why, I just got reminded that was even a thing.
I'm down for you to talk about that.
Absolutely.
Because I kept more to the actual biology stuff, but I'm really interested in that. If you have some information on that, I have an genuine interest in that.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So I can just go ahead, I guess, with that stuff.
Yeah, go for it.
But just to start, there's shapeshifters, which aren't actually technically werewolves, and then children of the moon, which are the second type, I guess, that are more
stereotypical werewolves. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're gonna stick to our Taylor Lautner-esque werewolves, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Our shapeshifter brand werewolves.
Yes. The shapeshifters infect others, quote unquote, infect others genetically, whereas children of the moon only transform during a full moon, and they create other werewolves by infecting a human with a venomous bite. The children of the moon are extremely powerful and cannot control when the actual shift happens. And imprinting for shapeshifters is how they find their quote-unquote soulmates. So they basically, it's like, I didn't like the way that there were lots of quotes, because I guess it's like seen as, you know, it's seen as romantic how Taylor Lautner, how Jacob, Taylor Lautner's character imprints on Bella's daughter, but like I think it's like super weird.
Yeah, it's really presented as like it's necessary to the plot, so they don't all get murdered at the end of the in the middle of the fourth book. But like it's also like there's a reason they've been so drawn together for all this time. Like
yeah.
Oh goodness.
It explains away the love triangle.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And finds a way for, like, Jacob to be still included while, like, also not being with Bella. So imprinting is basically where it's like an instant connection, where it's described as you lay eyes on someone as a shapeshifter and suddenly your whole world, instead of being you're tied to the world by gravity, you're now tied to the world by that person, and you want to be with them, you want to care for them, you just live for this person that you've imprinted on, and there's an instant, like, psychological and mental, emotional connection.
And it is not tied to age, as we know.
No. If an imprintee is an infant, romantic feelings don't develop until adulthood. And I put convenient.
Also, grooming. Grooming
also,
a child.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, how friggin' problematic is that? I hate that.
One
that
of
you
the
can imprint
other
on an infant.
I remember, like, part of the explanation when we first heard about imprinting, it was because it was in relation to a 3-year-old as well.
Yes.
Like,
Oh my God.
Another child.
Yeah.
I don't remember which wolf or what the child's name was. I just remember that they were on a beach and it was another child who was, like, literally 3 years old.
I mean,
yeah.
That's just blows my mind. But interesting thing, too, about imprinting is only 5 members of this shapeshifter's pack are known to have imprinted. All of them have been male, and it is uncertain whether female members are able to imprint or even be imprinted on.
Yes, because this is something I found out about when we talk about genetics, like the whole genetic thing. It's mostly all men. Leah was the first female ever in history.
Oh my goodness.
To shift. So
yeah, that's so interesting.
It's probably like shapeshifting in general is probably a male dominant trait. Presents more in men than in women, or presents differently in men than it does in women.
Yeah, you can go ahead. That's all I had on imprinting.
Okay.
I just thought it was an interesting part of their, like, species, I guess.
Yeah,
and I haven't thought about in a long time.
No, I honestly didn't even think to look into that, but considering the basis of this episode, definitely made sense to talk about. So in Twilight, werewolfism in terms of shapeshifters is genetic. They have a 24th chromosome pair that humans lack. We only have 23. And then, but it appears that these extra genes are only activated with an environmental factor, which is like proximity to vampires, and usually only in adulthood. So there's like an extra chromosome pair, and then like if you have another environmental factor, which is how genes work. Like you can be predisposed to be like an alcoholic, but like unless you're predisposed, unless you like have an environmental factor or some outward trauma or alcoholic parent or something else happening in your life, like you probably, even though you have a genetic disposition, you're probably still not going to be an alcoholic.
Right.
So yeah, it's the same. Like you have to have the gene, and then also there has to be vampires nearby. In Twilight, they're unlucky that they happen to live somewhere where it's so rainy that it's a desirable destination for vampires to live. And then, also we saw in the fourth one, when there's more vampires, like, it triggers the genetics at a younger age. So that's fun.
Incredible.
So they begin younger, and also there's, like, an emotional factor, like anger seems to be a bit of an issue. Fun fact I didn't know, hair length is directly proportional to fur length, which is why all these boys with gorgeous, traditionally long hair start cutting their hair. Because in the first couple movies, Jacob wears his hair in like a traditional, like, long, it's so beautiful.
It is. It is.
And then they just all start chopping their hair off. Apparently, it's because, proportional to fur length, so short hair is better. Leah cuts her hair to, like, chin length, which is a really good look for her, luckily.
Yeah.
But that's
interesting.
Fun fact I didn't know.
That's very, very cool.
And then also the resting body temperature in human form clocks in 108 Fahrenheit, which is a dangerously high fever for the average human being.
Wow.
That's insane.
Proteins begin to break down between 106 and 108, and those proteins are used to maintain function of your skin, muscles, brain, and other vital organs. So the average person would be in big trouble if they had a fever this high for, like, a few minutes or like a few hours, and like that's just their resting body temperature.
You know.
Yeah, wow.
It does explain why Taylor Lautner's never allowed to wear a shirt, though. His organs might shut down if he has an extra layer of clothes.
It's too dangerous.
That extra layer of clothes might tip his body just like over the edge into,
we
into
can't
organ
risk
failure.
it. We simply cannot risk it.
But yeah, that's all I had about werewolves in Twilight.
Goodness. That's very cool.
And Moira has never seen Twilight?
I have no experience with any of these characters other than in Wizards of Waverly Place. So I am an observer today.
Yeah, that's okay.
Learning all the
we'll
information.
educate you for sure.
Yeah.
Welcome to the TED Talk on werewolves and vampires and banshees.
Yeah.
Exactly. Very cool. Do you guys want to talk about Teen Wolf is next on the list of things?
Yeah, I think it's mostly going to be me talking unless Faith did some research.
No, I will let you. I tried a little bit, but
Yeah.
I didn't want to mess anything up and look stupid, so
No, it's
go
okay.
ahead.
I'm excited to talk about Teen Wolf 2 weeks in a row, so.
Yeah.
As far as we know, they eat a normal human diet. They're more wolf hybrids. They don't really transform into full wolves most of the time. It's like a man-wolf type combo. So even when they're like transformed, mostly human diet. So you have to either be bitten by an alpha or born with one or more werewolf parents. So it's a gene that you can pass on, but also like a bite can cause it. And also you can have human children if you're a werewolf. So is like a genetic thing. You can do what am I thinking of? It's a, like, you know, the square, a Punnett square. It's biology. And, so if you have 4 kids, there's, like, you're not gonna have 4 werewolf kids. You can have you can be a werewolf and you have, like, some werewolf and some human children. It
makes sense.
Yeah. Not a guarantee. They live in packs most of the time. They're strongest when there's an alpha and 3 or more betas who are just, like, average werewolves. And then often they have, like, an emissary who's, like, a Celtic druid who just kind of, they're, like, mostly human beings. They just, like, know about the supernatural.
Cool.
And they just give advice and guidance and remind werewolves to maintain some humanity in their lives, which is helpful.
Things.
And, like, the packs see themselves often as, like, families, even if they aren't blood related. And they're, like, really protective of other members.
Aww.
So they can kill people. They don't eat people, but they can kill people, especially if they, like, lose control. They often have anger and aggression issues. And if you already have anger and aggression issues, those get a lot worse. So you gotta be careful. Yeah. There's a point where there's, like, a new alpha on the show, and the first person that he bites, like, isn't really intentional. It's like, I have to bite you to save your life. And then he finds out that the person that he bit has intermittent explosive disorder.
Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's some issues there. Also, who named intermittent explosive disorder? Because it abbreviates down to IED, which is a bomb.
Oh yeah, who did that?
Who did that?
I want to speak with that.
Yeah.
With that namer.
Yeah. So the alpha werewolves can access and even alter or remove memories by putting their claws in the back of someone's neck, but it's really dangerous if you do it wrong. And the memories can be stored in the claws even after death. So if you, like, store someone's claws, which is a creepy thing to do, and they have memories in there, like, yeah, they can also make you forget things. Yeah, it's super interesting. We don't get a lot of information on how that works, but it's really cool. But yeah, like I said, really dangerous. So most of them try not to do it unless it's an emergency.
Yeah.
So they can learn to control their abilities, but they're most likely to, like, lose control and be aggressive during the full moon. So, like, you can transform anytime you want once you learn how to control. But, like, the first few full moons, you gotta, like, be contained. Because you can hurt people, or you can get exposed, or you can be hunted. And then a supermoon enhances your abilities even more, but a lunar eclipse suppresses your ability until the lunar eclipse is over.
Oh.
So
Okay.
there's some vulnerability. They also have accelerated healing, so they can't get sick, and their cells, like, regenerate really quickly. So unless they're, like, killed, they can live for a really long time, like, well over 100.
Mm-hmm.
There was a character on the show who was at least 110, and we don't know if they could live, like, longer than that.
It's very cool.
They do have some weaknesses. Wolfsbane and aconite is, like, toxic to them.
Mm-hmm.
There are different strains of wolfsbane, some of which are more effective than others, but generally it causes, like, weakness. It can be lethal once it, like, causes an infection, and that infection, like, reaches the heart, but you can burn it out. Or if it's the same type of wolfsbane is, like, burnt, you can use the ashes and it'll, like, neutralize the effect. Or you can just, like, chop off a limb if it gets really desperate.
And wolfsbane is a
It's a flower, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
And there's,
Very
like,
cool.
purple and yellow, and, like, sometimes the yellow one seems to be stronger. Like, the yellow one works, like, better on alphas, or there's, like, something called a canima that's, like, a werewolf reptile type hybrid that I talked about a little bit last week in our shipwrecked episode, and, like, the yellow wolfsbane works on them, but not the purple one.
Oh.
And then they're also affected by electricity. Like, a low voltage can stop them from transforming, and, like, a higher voltage can, like, knock them out or even kill them.
Wow.
So, like, you can, like, torture them or, like, keep them captive with electricity.
Mm-hmm.
And then also they're blocked by mountain ash. Most supernatural creatures in Teen Wolf are. It doesn't hurt them, but, like, if you, like, make a circle with it, they can't, like, get into the circle.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like Salt and Supernatural.
Right.
But, like, less dumb, I guess, because... And then they're also vulnerable to some of the same things that, like, wolves and dogs are. There's a wolf lichen, and it makes dogs sick if they ingest it. And, like, werewolves can be weakened for it by several days until it, like, leaves their system. Also, someone modified a version of the Canine Distemper virus in the show, and they can't get, like, normal sicknesses, but this one causes them to first lose the ability to transform, either backwards or forwards, and then also develop rashes, bleeding, blindness, and then death if not cured.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, that one will get them. They don't get normal sicknesses, but if you just, like, modify some existing sicknesses that affect dogs, that'll get them.
Oh, goodness.
But yeah, other than that, like, they have, like, superior senses, but, like, those can also be used against them. Certain, like, frequencies or, like, really sudden loud noises or bright lights can, like, overwhelm them because their senses are so heightened.
Right.
But they just have, like, general, like, heightened senses pretty much all the time. So that can also be, like, a pro.
Right.
But yeah, that's Werewolves and Teen Wolf.
Okay. Fun.
Incredible.
Now, supernatural?
Yeah.
Which I will try. I'll keep shorter.
Okay. Take a sip of water.
Yeah, Teen Wolf is, like, mostly just about werewolves, so there was a lot of content
Right.
there.
Very fair.
Supernatural has, like, more variety.
Right.
So the werewolves in Supernatural mostly consume human hearts. Sometimes they'll eat more people, but mostly just hearts.
Okay, then.
Yeah, you can be bitten or born a werewolf.
Okay.
Mostly it's incurable, so if you get bit, you're a werewolf. In season 12, they managed to turn someone back by injecting them with the blood of the werewolf that turned them.
Okay.
But someone else had already tried that before and been killed, so best not to get bit unless you're ready to commit, because it might not work. And then if you like, consume a human heart, like, you're totally done. That wouldn't work anymore either.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Okay.
It's like a short term. If you get it right away, then you're good. There's two different kinds of werewolves in Supernatural. There's regular werewolves and pureblood werewolves. So regular werewolves are bitten by, like, other normal werewolves. They lose control during the full moons, and they don't have a lot of memory of transforming and can definitely hurt people without knowing or meaning to. And then there's pureblood werewolves, who are also bitten werewolves, or born werewolves, I guess, as well. But the werewolf that bit them or that they're born from is closer to the original alpha. So all the monsters in Supernatural pretty much have, like, an alpha, which is the first one.
Oh.
And then all the other ones are, like, turned from that one or from that one's children.
Right.
They're usually all, like, interconnected.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, like, if you're 3 or 4 generations or closer to the alpha, then you retain more human qualities and control. And if you're, like, born a pureblood, you have even more control than someone who's bitten.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just gives you more control, so you have a better chance of, like, not killing anybody. You could, like, choose not to kill someone. So, like, you might be fine to just continue on. The Winchesters might not kill you.
Right.
There we go.
And then, yeah, they're pretty standard in terms of, like, they can be hurt by silver and killed by a silver bullet or a silver knife to the heart, or an angel blade, because the angel blades can kill just about everything.
Right.
And yeah, that's Werewolves and Supernatural.
Okay.
Incredible.
I have one more. I don't know if it was on the list.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shiver?
Yes. So,
Is that a show? What is that?
it is a book series. We don't talk about a lot of books on this podcast. But
No, we don't.
We need to change
it's a really good book series. It's a YA book series. The actual series is called Wolves of Mercy Falls, but Shiver Trilogy will get you the same results on Google. There's technically 4 books, so it's not even a trilogy anymore, but...
Oh, okay.
It's a really different take on the werewolf story, but overall it's a really fun YA read from what I remember. It's been a few years since I fully read them. I read a lot of the last 2 for this, but
Awesome.
also I think from what I remember though, and from what I read in the last 2 books, heavy content warning for substance abuse, discussion of and attempted suicide and attempted murder of a child. Lots of trigger warnings in it. So even though it's a YA book, lots of adult themes and contents. So the wolves get turned based on cold or warmth. So they turn into wolves over the winter and they're mostly human in the summer.
Okay.
So it's not related to the moon, it's related. And they attribute this story about the moon and that being the common story to at night it's colder.
Okay.
So you're more likely to get to turn at night. They don't have any control over when they turn, and it's really unpleasant for a lot of them. There's a period of a lack of control right after you're bitten, and then the transforming levels out to be temperature based. And then as you are a werewolf for longer, you become more and more sensitive to the cold until eventually you stay a wolf. And then while you're a wolf, you pretty much are a regular wolf. You have no real human characteristics or thoughts. You're just a wolf.
Right.
And then there's some extra stuff in here because that's the base that we're presented with, and then we kind of learn over the series that that's not entirely true.
Oh, okay.
So the story's protagonist, Grace, was attacked in her backyard as a kid. She was 11, and then she never turned into a werewolf because her horribly negligent parents left her in a hot car and almost died. Oh yeah, add that to my content warning. Grace's parents are absolutely horrible human beings.
Wow. Okay.
Her dad left her in a car when she was a kid, just forgot she was in the car.
Oh my gosh.
And she almost died. And so that leads them to the theory that a dangerously high fever might cure you.
Okay.
Oh.
So they decide to try this out by giving Sam and Jack bacterial meningitis. Sam was a wolf when they injected him and he lives, and Jack was a human and he dies.
Okay.
Oh no.
So it maybe works, and because Sam stops turning into a wolf, which is good because he was about to be on his last year and he was going to be a wolf forever.
Right.
And he's Grace's soulmate, so that would not do.
Oh.
Okay.
And then there's a character Cole who gets bit because he wants to be a werewolf because he's the front man of a boy band and is absolutely miserable about it.
Okay.
And he's actually hella smart. And he's the son of a science child prodigy, and he's also a bit of a child prodigy himself. He just doesn't want to be a prodigy, so he went into music. And
right.
he's okay, I want to be a werewolf because if I'm not a werewolf, I'm so miserable about my life that I'll commit suicide.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's I don't want to remember who I am. And, somehow being a wolf in the woods is better than dying.
Right.
It's not the same, but it's close enough. Anyway, so he is he wants to be a werewolf, but he can't. He has a hard time staying a wolf. He transforms back and forth, but he always turns back to human, and he doesn't turn back even when it's cold sometimes. He intentionally tries to turn, and he can't a lot of the time. So he's I'm gonna science this shit out.
Right.
And thanks to him sciencing some shit out, we get a pretty in-depth look at how this werewolfism actually works.
Okay.
So his theory is that the werewolf toxin is really bad for you. And shifting into a wolf is the body's response to that toxin. It's an immune response.
Oh.
And that response is triggered by being hot or cold. When you're hot or cold, your hypothalamus tells your body that you're supposed to shiver to keep yourself warm. And then also your hypothalamus does other stuff because brains are cool. But when you're a werewolf, the hypothalamus is okay, we feel cold or we feel adrenaline or whatever. And instead of shivering, you turn into a wolf. It co-ops that message.
I love that. I love that
really
there's a sciencey explanation.
Yeah. And then so something about being cooked in a car or having bacterial meningitis or in Cole's case doing a boatload of drugs including meth impacts the hypothalamus's response, which prevents you from shifting or impacts the ability to shift.
Oh, that's really cool.
So when they're in their human form, they don't have any really powers. They have some above average senses, but generally, you can still get hurt or you can, you heal a little bit more quickly, but still can get hurt. You can, if you get shot, you could die.
Right.
You're not gonna heal from that. super quickly. And then, also, like, the werewolf toxin, like, kills you once you stop shifting.
Right.
Like, you get, like, another, like, 10 or so years, like, 7 to 10 years after you stop shifting.
Yeah, but it will eventually kill you.
That kills you, so they tried to find a way to, like, reset it in the books.
Very interesting.
Yeah, so it was really good. It's a totally different take on the story. And then, in the second and third book, we start getting to this, like, how does this actually work?
Yeah, that is super interesting. I wrote that book series down just now.
It's a really good book series. I mean, heavy on the content warnings.
Yeah, of course.
The author is Maggie Stiefvater. I hope I said that right. All of her series are really good.
Okay.
I feel like this is a series that people don't talk about, but it was her her biggest commercial success anyways, because it came out in the Twilight era.
Right.
That makes sense.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of it before.
She wrote, like, The Raven Cycle and some other books, and they're really good from what I've read. I haven't read a lot of them, but
that
all
sounds
her books are really good, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that's like a different kind of actually, like, biological kind of explanation. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's really good. And Cole is hilarious. I mean, he's really messed up. Really messed up, but he's, like, sitting down with a napkin to, like, make a flowchart, and he's like, okay. She's like, okay, so, like, what's your issue then? He just writes meth in, like, big block letters.
Right.
Yeah.
Incredible. Okay. Do we want to move on and talk about vampires?
Love to talk about vampires. That's why we're here.
Sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, like, basic thing is a vampire is an undead being that feeds on the vital essence of people, mostly in the form of blood. Yeah.
Yeah, sensitive to the sun. Sometimes, usually immortal.
Yeah.
There's an association with bats.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even write that.
I read other stuff about them being, like, they can turn into, like, foxes and mice and stuff, too, but...
I've never heard that before. I like that.
No, me neither.
That's super cool.
But I guess bats was just, like, cooler, so that was the most popular one.
Yeah, if it comes to mice or bats, like, you're still basically, like, if you took away the wings on a bat, you'd be left with a mouse almost, but, like... Bats are cuter.
Yeah.
And cooler. They're both more cool and
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I found a thing that said in the past they were, like, often described as, like, bloated and, like, in, like, a ruddy purplish or dark color, and, like, they were those characteristics were attributed to, like, recent drinking of blood, but now it's like more common that they're depicted as, like, pale and they have no color, like
a lack of blood.
Yeah.
Right. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Weakness to fire is a big one as well. Usually the other big
coffins.
Oh yeah.
Garlic, fangs.
Why did I not put garlic on my list?
I don't know. No reflection. And then I feel like I knew this in the back of my mind, but I thought it was interesting when I was reading. Sometimes they aren't allowed to come into your house unless they're invited in.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite vampire myths, actually.
Yeah. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Do you guys want to start by talking about Twilight?
Yes, that's why we're here.
For sure. That is actually, the whole inspiration for this episode, right, KJ?
Yeah, I was rewatching Twilight, I think, and I was like, hang on.
Wait a minute.
How did Edward's 100-year-old sperm make a baby?
Yeah, which we both think we have an answer for this.
Yeah.
So we'll maybe leave that until the end of this Twilight run here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're called the Cold Ones. They're immortal, and they must consume the blood of either animals or humans to survive. They are quoted as being this, like, physical perfection, and they look the way that they look in order to lure in prey and, like, get humans' trust.
Which doesn't seem necessary, to be honest.
Right?
Edward literally has a whole speech. I don't remember if that speech was in the book, but it was definitely in the movie. Like, designed to, like, draw people in, but also not necessary because they can overpower you in both strength and speed.
I mean, they have so many overpowering, like, qualities and skills.
Physical attractiveness seems like the least of what they've got going on.
Well, it seemed like, it's just a thing they added to be like, and they're hot.
Yeah.
And they're hot, too.
Yeah.
Because why not?
Yeah, because, I mean, if you don't want a human to fall for you, I mean, I guess that is the point, right?
Yeah. I found some contradictory information.
Okay.
about this specific transformation of, like, physical appearance.
Okay.
So they look pale, and, like, because they don't have blood.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume that was pale relative to their initial skin tone. Like, us white people would look like printer paper and gorgeous. And I was assuming that people with more melanin than we have would look paler than they did in life, but still darker than, paper.
Right.
Or, whatever color they had, just less.
Yeah, just
blood,
in relation to where they started. Uh-huh.
Although, I got most of my information for this episode off of the various wiki pages for these fandoms.
Right.
And the wiki page might have an alternative take on this. Becoming a vampire may whitewash you.
Okay.
The movies contraindicate this. There are vampires like Ben and Laurent who retain their melanin.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. But the wiki is of the opinion that most of your pigment would be lost, including freckles or moles.
Okay.
Which would be unfortunate, because, in my opinion, those are identifying features, not flaws.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And the complete absence of freckles on a very pale face is a little unnerving. Also seems to be, I think, contraindicated in the movies. People have freckles.
Yeah, that is really weird.
My thought is that if it can remove a freckle...
It can make your whole... It can make anybody white, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, like...
problematic.
Yeah, that's a really problematic
and doesn't really
plot.
Make sense to me either, because if they're just pale because they lack blood, that wouldn't make sense either.
Right.
Yeah.
So yes, we've now left this with a new question.
Yeah, literally. I was feeling so good going into this. I'm like, I know that this question was answered.
We solved the question we came to answer, but...
And I also want to say, too, just throw this in, I should have said that at the beginning, but this, like, in-depth discussion of Twilight doesn't mean that I particularly like Twilight.
Yeah, same.
This is not the quality of movie. That's a whole different thing. We're just talking about the actual biology and specifics of these species.
Yeah, when I say that I rewatch Twilight, I sometimes just like to rewatch things that I don't particularly enjoy. The second movie puts me to sleep. I use it when I can't sleep.
Yeah, that is so funny.
I actually think that the second...
KJ's insomnia.
I actually think that the second movie is one of the better movies as a whole. It just has this really boring section in the middle.
Right.
Like, I think that there's some interesting shit happening in... I don't even remember what the second one's called.
Oh my god,
I think it's New Moon, but...
Oh my gosh, is it the section with the wolves? I remember, literally, there was a whole... It was probably, like, an inch thick in the actual book.
Yeah.
That I just, like, kind of skimmed through, because I was so bored of hearing about the wolves.
The second one's where my mom gave up. She's like, these books are giant. They're, like, my mom's not a fast reader. She's like, these books are giant. Obviously, Edward must come back at some point, and I don't know if she was annoyed by Bella being super duper depressed.
Right. Right.
Which is not healthy. Like, a 17-year-old should not be that involved with their significant other.
No, my gosh. No.
If they have other healthy home life things happening and other things, like, matter to them, other interests and other people that they care about in their lives, like, a breakup is horrible. And, her father should not have let her go for that long without making her speak to a therapist. Not that he was going to make her speak to a therapist. He was just going to send her back to her mom.
I mean, we could talk about the actual quality of
Twilight.
Of Twilight.
That's not why we're here.
Ever.
That's not why we're here.
That could be a whole different episode because I have a lot of thoughts and opinions. But I just wanted to make that clear so that people don't think we're like obsessing over how great this movie is.
No, we just happened to exist in the target audience of Twilight. We were
literally,
like in our we were in our tweens and early teens when Twilight was really big, and so we were just in the target audience.
At the time, I was absolutely hooked. Oh, God.
I was late to the game, but I got there.
I went to Breaking Down Part 2, the whole thing where they showed like every movie and you sat there for 8 hours or whatever all night long. I friggin' went. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we did the double features.
I was obsessed.
Something, I think we brought this up maybe in our first episode. I don't remember if it actually like made it into the first episode or what, but we talked about in the first movie, Emmett has a sack of boiled eggs.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So they can ingest human food and drinks, but they can't digest it. So anything that they do eat, they would have to like throw up later. The wiki page would use the phrase cough up, and I would like to avoid, I would like to say it's to avoid saying throw up.
Yeah.
But also, like, for me, coughing up means it's, like, in your lungs, and I have issues with that. Although I guess if you're not, like, eating food and you don't need to breathe, food can end up really either place.
Right. And maybe they mean, like, it's not... Okay, this is about to be gross, but if it's not, like, throw up because your stomach isn't, like...
digesting it,
or, like, there's no, like, acid and it hasn't been broken down at all, so it literally is, like, a cow or something, like, regurgitating its food. Does a cow do that, or is it camels? I don't know. But,
I'm sure camels do, too. I'm sure camels and cows are pretty similar. But this also led to more questions for me.
Okay.
Okay, I'm on board. It explains why he has the eggs, even though they don't need food. He's just blending. And
right. Well, I mean, bad job at blending it.
I mean, he's so jacked that I like, for a high school student, that I think he has to just be like, I only eat things that are high protein.
Right. Okay. I am on board.
But,
kind of.
Okay, so if they can't digest human food, what happens when they drink blood? How does that help? How does that keep them alive? They don't need oxygen, but they need to drink blood for survival.
Interesting.
Is the assumption that they just kind of absorb it and it just goes into their own... I guess not bloodstream, but their organs absorb it?
We don't know.
Yeah, I was actually going to say, like, I thought that, like, the species in Twilight, for kind of how trash the actual series is, I thought that it was, like, decently thought out.
Mm-hmm. But we have some questions.
But there are a lot of questions, for sure. Yeah, so they can see in the dark, and they have strong hearing, super speed, and strength, which makes the physical perfection part really overkill. A few vampires have special abilities like telepathy, and I have foresight. That makes sense. Right?
Yeah. That's what Alice has in Arrow,
yes. I friggin' loved Alice so much. She was my favorite. And it's usually like a prominent personality or physical trait magnified from their human life.
I really want to know what Jane and her brother, whose name I can't remember, had going on before they were vampires.
Yeah.
Because, like, Jane has the torture, like, not to make a Harry Potter reference in this episode, that was supposed to be Harry Potter 3, but Jane has some, like, Cruciatus curse level, like, pain infliction, and her brother, whose name I still can't remember.
I don't know either.
has this, like, ability to, like, desensitize you entirely.
Dang.
So, and Moira's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, Moira's like, wow, cool.
And I want to know what they had going on first.
Yeah, no, that is interesting.
Or, like, Kate, it makes sense with, like, what Edward and, like, Alice can do, that's the explanation, but, like, Kate can, like, shock you. Is she just, like, always, like, statically charged as a human?
Right.
Does she just always give you a static shock? Like, what the frig was going on with them?
Yeah, it said usually a prominent person. Yeah. So maybe that's just, like, to cover their bases so they can be like, yeah, in that case, it was just, they just have it.
Edward, sure. Alice, sure. Bella, sure. Like, that tracks for, like, the Emmett, sure. It's Jasper. Sorry. Wrong brother.
Yeah, Jasper. Yeah. So they're unharmed by garlic, holy items, wooden stakes. They have reflections and they have shadows. They can walk in the sunlight. I literally never thought about
shadows before.
Right? It specifically says in, I think it was fandom.com, I found a lot.
I love fandom.com. I use them all the time.
Honestly, like, that fandom.com to us is what Murderpedia is to my favorite murder. So, like, thank you to them and all their hard work. And then they can go in the sun without being, like, physically damaged, but they do sparkle.
Yeah.
Get all sparkly.
There's an explanation for the sparkling, though. It's, like, because
I didn't write it down, but please.
I didn't either, but it's because they're, like, they don't, like, their cells don't, like, move or change that much. Like,
right.
They're, like, a hard surface, so it's, like, reflective.
Yeah. Yeah,
I wish I'd written it down because that would have been better.
The strength of their actual skin, like their actual atoms, become harder than granite, it said.
Yeah, so it's like becomes a reflective surface because it's like not.
Yeah, it's described as like diamond hard skin. So maybe their skin and like their actual cells become diamond-esque.
Yeah, in terms of reflecting and refracting light.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's the explanation for why they sparkle. It's not that they're, like, preppy. It's that they're, like, tough.
Right. But also beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, it does kind of like make them sparkly and nice to look at. Yeah.
And then their eyes are gold when they've been feeding on animals, and their eyes turn red when they feed on human blood.
And like dark when they're starving.
Yes. If they've gone for a long time without feeding, they go dark.
I read that like they can't really die from like starving to death. It's just if they like become weaker and like lose their mental capabilities, so like eventually they'll just be like, I really don't want to murder anybody, but like eventually they'll just be like not mentally capable of not murdering anybody.
Right.
Oh.
So
right.
yeah,
because their bodies, I guess, are like immortal and like don't want to.
Yeah, so like eventually they just like
obviously.
lose mental capacity, and then they go out and like insanely murder somebody and drink them.
Yeah, and then kind of like what you were saying about werewolves, vampires carry 25 pairs of chromosomes, 2 more than humans. Carlisle reveals this in Breaking Dawn while telling Jacob about their supernatural genetic relations.
Yeah, I guess to segue us into why we're really here, vampire hybrids have 24 pairs, the same as the werewolves do.
Yes, okay. And then I just also wanted to say one more thing before we get into that whole situation, and KJ can tell us why we're really here.
Yeah.
Is that they can only actually be killed by probably just dismemberment, but at the end of the last movie, we have to assume that they can also be killed by like magma and hot like lava because of Alice's like flash. Vision. That's a good word.
Which is only in the movie. It's not in the book, and I think that's honestly the only good thing that the movies did.
Honestly, like friggin' like 12-year-old me or whatever, however old I was, had an actual heart attack in the movies.
Yeah.
When all of my favorite characters started being ripped limb from limb, oh my god. The trauma of it all.
The books were out and wildly popular because it was the last film, so everybody knew how it was supposed to end, and that was not it.
Yep. Oh my goodness, I can't even.
Yeah. So it's really just decapitation as well. Like, limbs could be reattached.
True. Very true.
And then,
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and it's not bloody. They're like...
Yeah, no, it's no blood.
It's like being like cracked off.
Yeah, it's like a rock. It's like breaking a rock.
Yeah, it's not what you're... I should have maybe said that when I said dismemberment. Sorry, Moira.
No, just it's so weird.
The only thing that leaves a mark on them, too, is like venom.
Yes.
From so if you get bit by another vampire, it'll leave a mark, but that's it. Everything else will just heal right up.
Okay, KJ, tell us why we're really here.
So we're really here to answer how Edward Cullen made a baby after 100 years of being a vampire.
Yeah.
So there is kind of an answer.
Okay.
But to quote the wiki, the underlying...
Yes.
From so if you get bit...
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 Yes. 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 Yes.
From so if you get bit...
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 Yes.
From so if you get bit... From so if you get bit...
Yes.
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 From so if you get bit... From so if you get bit...
Yes.
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 From like, so if you get bit, from like, so if you get bit,
Yes.
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 from like, so if you get bit, from like, so if you get bit, from like, so if you get bit, from like, so if you get bit,
Yes.
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 from like, so if you get bit, 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 from like, so if you get bit,
Yes.
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 from like, so if you get bit, 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 from like, so if you get bit,
Yes.
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 from like, so if you get bit, 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 from like, so if you get bit,
Yes.
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 from like, so if you get bit, 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 from like, so if you get bit,
Yes.
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 from like, so if you get bit, 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 from like, so if you get bit,
Yes.
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 from like, so if you get bit, 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 from like, so if you get bit,
Yes.
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 from like, so if you get bit,
Yes. 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 Yes.
from like, so if you get bit,
Yes.
from like, so if you get bit,
Yes. 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 Yes.
from like, so if you get bit,
Yes.
from like, so if you get bit,
Yes. 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 Yes.
from like, so if you get bit,
Yes.
from like, so if you get bit,
Yes.
from like, so if you get bit,
Yes. 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 Yes.
from like, so if you get bit,
Yes.
From like, so if you get bit.
Yes.
From like, so if you get bit.
Yes. 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 Yes.
From like, so if you get bit.
Yes.
From like, so if you get bit.
Yes. 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 Yes.
From like, so if you get bit.
Yes.
From like, so if you get bit.
Yes. 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 Yes.
From like, so if you get bit.
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 Yes. 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 Yes.